Alright, YouTube, so we are back to talk about some Final Fantasy VII Remake, and today I want to just sort of discuss summons as a whole, like the summon mechanic for Final Fantasy VII Remake and what my thoughts are on it. So right out the gate, I'll tell you, I have sort of mixed feelings when it comes to the summons in Final Fantasy VII Remake. They're cool, they remind me a bit of Final Fantasy XII, which I love the summoning mechanic in that game. But there are some detriments. For one, the fact that the summon materia is already maxed whenever you get it. Like, I thought that was kind of weird. I was expecting to be able to level up the materia like you do any other materia in this game, or the original Final Fantasy VII. And to be perfectly fair, I don't even know what leveling up a summon materia would do in this particular game, but still, I thought that was kind of weird. Something else I found a bit strange is that we're told prior to the release of the game that summons can only be used against boss fights and certain powerful enemies, but I've been able to use them in somewhat random battles where I am getting my ass kicked, but still they're seemingly random. So I can give you a few examples of what I'm talking about. One I actually have a picture of, the other just something that happened to me when I was playing the game. First off, the day of release, I was able to use Chocobo Chick against the Huntsman enemy, which is an enemy that you fight right before Cloud hops on top of the train after the first bombing mission. So right here's a picture I took of my screen that I tweeted out on April 10th. You can see the date down there in the bottom left. And this is an enemy, again, that you fight near the very, very beginning of the game. This is not a special enemy by any means. You fight these shielded enemies throughout the entire game. But I was getting my ass kicked by him. I didn't know how to fight him exactly. I didn't know you needed to use certain types of magic against them that they're weak to, or just roll behind them and attack them from behind. By the way, he's beating the hell out of me, and eventually the summon bar popped up, filled up, and I was able to use the summon at the very beginning. This is something I was telling everybody, a long time ago, that I was thinking that we'd be able to use the summons pretty much at the beginning of the game. I've never played a game where you could not use the DLC items pretty much from the beginning. People have given me a few examples in the comments of my videos of games where you had to wait to be able to use some of the DLC items, but every game I've ever played, whenever you get like special bonus items for pre-ordering a game or whatever the case, you're able to use them right away, and this is an example of that. You could probably use the Chocobo Chick sometime during the bombing mission if you were just getting your ass kicked. The other example I have is in the Corneo Coliseum in like the rank 1 Cloud vs. Wild Animals fight. I think it's like round 2 or something. You fight 2 Gorger enemies and a Blue Goo fish. And on paper, that's not a hard fight at all. Obviously, these are kind of random basic enemies. The issue is that the Gorgers have the ability to bind you. They'll jump on your character, and then you can't do anything. And obviously, you're doing this Corneo Coliseum solo with just Cloud. So they'd bind me, and I'd be getting my ass kicked by the other two. And then the Blue Goo fish has an ability to put you to sleep, which I also was not prepared for. So I wasn't necessarily struggling to beat these guys. They just kept binding me and putting you to sleep. And eventually, because of this, the summon bar appeared, it filled up, and I was able to use, I believe, Ifrit or something at the time, and destroyed them, and destroyed the rest of the ranks of Cloud vs. Wild Animals rank 1. But the point is, this is another seemingly random fight. This isn't a boss fight, this isn't certain unique, powerful enemies or anything like that. It's just a random rank in the Corneo Coliseum, and I was able to use a summon. And what I'm confused by is if we can use the summons in pretty much every fight, as long as you're getting your ass kicked, why can we just not use the summons whenever we want to? And don't get me wrong, the summons are pretty powerful. They saved my ass a couple of times throughout this game, especially in some of the boss fights, and maybe that's why they're limited in use. But again, if you're just fighting just random enemies, if you're out in the world just maybe grinding, and for whatever reason some enemies are kicking your ass, you'll be able to use one of your summons, which means, again, you can use them in pretty much every single fight, so why can't we just use them whenever we want? Some of the other observations I made is there's only one actual missable piece of materia in the game, which is the Chocobo Moogle materia. You can get it during the Airbuster mission, but you don't have to get it, it's just optional. You get Ifrit in the story, and then the rest are all Chadley stuff. They're all Chadley VR missions. And those are technically missable if you just don't want to do Chadley's things. But even if those are technically optional and something you don't have to do, there's no secret summons in this game, which is really underwhelming. I love finding secret hidden summons in the Final Fantasy games. 10's an example of it. I love the Magus Sisters and Anima and Yojimbo. Even the original Final Fantasy VII, you had like Neo Bahamut, Bahamut Zero, Knights of Round, and some other like optional / secret summons, and this game just didn't have that. And regarding the limited amount of summons in this game, I was kind of confused why there wasn't like a lightning, electric, thunder summon like Rama from the original game. Like there's Fat Chocobo and Chocobo Moogle, which in the original game they were one summon. You would just use Chocomog, and every now and then it would do Fat Chocobo. It just seems very odd because we have fire covered with Ifrit, ice covered with Shiva, and we have water covered with Leviathan, and then randomly there's just not a thunder or electric summon. It doesn't make a lot of sense, especially when they took a summon from the original game that was one piece of materia and made it into 2 now. I mean, they could have easily just taken either of those and replaced them with Rama. It's weird because I don't necessarily hate the summon mechanic in this game, but I find myself having several gripes with it, and it seems like it's such a tacked-on feature of the games, especially when it seems like they forgot to add a certain elemental summon like Rama to the game. There's plenty of enemies that are weak to thunder. There's a lot of robots that you fight in this game. It's so strange to just not have a summon that fits that element. And there's part of me that really likes them. Like I said before, they saved me quite a few times. There's a lot of times where it's helped me to have that second or third or fourth party member, essentially, and then their final attack when they leave does a lot of damage, and that's helped with a lot of bosses. But still, there's just some stuff I just don't like about the mechanic in this game. But those are my thoughts. I want to pass up to you guys. What are your thoughts on the summons in Final Fantasy VII Remake? Do you like them? Do you not like them? Do you even care at all? Leave your thoughts and more in the comment section below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new and want to stay up to date with more Final Fantasy VII Remake content. Turn on my notifications. Follow me on Twitter at @dashingdavid. I'm a Discord. Links to my social networks are in the description and in the outro. Later, guys.
Give me forever for a while, give me forever for a while. Quit acting like a baby, or at least less like a child.